In this video, I will walk you through how to build a customized, AI-powered chatbot that you can train using your own data. This will involve 4 steps that I will review in the next slide. We are going to walk you through this process in 4 steps. First, we need to gather and clean your data. Secondly, we need to train your chatbot. Then, we will fine-tune your chatbot model. And finally, we will evaluate the accuracy of the chatbot and deploy for your use. The first step is to collect and preprocess your data. This might involve cleaning up the data, removing irrelevant information, and converting it into a suitable format. Most language models can process spreadsheets, word processor documents, and even PDFs. Make sure your data is well structured and consistent to improve the performance of your model. Also, you will want to make sure your data is stored in an accessible location like your Google Drive if you plan on using the cloud for your chatbot, or your desktop in a single folder if you plan on using your personal computer. Now we can move to the second step. To train a language model using your own data, you'll need to choose a framework or library that supports training language models. Hugging Face's Transformers library is a popular choice for building custom language models. Once you have chosen a framework, you'll need to preprocess your data so that it can be used for training. This might involve cleaning up the data, removing irrelevant information, and converting it into a suitable format. For example, you may need to tokenize your data, convert it into numerical format, and divide it into batches. Next, you'll need to specify the architecture of your language model. There are several pre-existing architectures available, such as GPT-2 and GPT-3, that you can use as a starting point. You can also modify the architecture by adding or removing layers, changing the size of the hidden layers, or adjusting other hyperparameters. Once you have specified the architecture of your language model, you'll need to train it using your preprocessed data. This involves feeding your data into the model and adjusting the model's weights and biases to minimize the error between the predicted and actual output. The training process can take a long time, depending on the size of your dataset and the complexity of your model. After training the language model, you can save the trained weights and biases for later use. These can be loaded into a chatbot application or fine-tuned for a specific chatbot task, as described in Step 3. It's worth noting that training a high-quality language model can be a computationally expensive and time-consuming process, especially if you have a large dataset. However, the effort can be worth it, as a well-trained language model can form the foundation of a powerful and flexible chatbot. Once you have a pre-trained language model, the next step is to fine-tune it for your specific chatbot task. This involves training the model to generate appropriate responses to user input. Fine-tuning involves taking the pre-trained model and training it on your specific task or dataset. This process is typically faster and requires less data than training a language model from scratch. Fine-tuning is achieved by initializing the pre-trained model with its pre-existing weights, and then training the model on the new task data. To fine-tune the pre-trained model for chatbot-specific tasks, you'll need to provide it with examples of conversational data. This might include chat logs, conversation transcripts, or other data sources that reflect the types of interactions your chatbot will have. One common approach to fine-tuning is to use transfer learning. This involves using the pre-trained model's knowledge of language and context to inform its understanding of new tasks. Transfer learning can be done by freezing the lower layers of the pre-trained model and only fine-tuning the upper layers, which are responsible for the specific task you are training the model for. Another approach to fine-tuning is to use a technique called prompt engineering. This involves designing prompts, or input statements, that are tailored to the specific task you are training the model for. By using carefully crafted prompts, you can guide the model's responses in a more focused way. Once you have fine-tuned your language model for your specific chatbot task, you can evaluate its performance and refine it as necessary. This might involve measuring its accuracy or other metrics, or manually reviewing the chatbot's responses to ensure they are appropriate and helpful. Overall, fine-tuning a pre-trained language model for chatbot-specific tasks is an important step in building a high-quality chatbot. By training the model on specific examples of conversational data, you can help it to generate more accurate and contextually appropriate responses. Step 4. Deploy the chatbot. Once you have fine-tuned your language model for your specific chatbot task, the next step is to deploy the chatbot. This involves integrating the model into a chatbot application, which can be hosted on a website, messaging platform, or other digital platform. To deploy the chatbot, you'll need to write code to interface with the language model, handle user input and output, and manage the chatbot's conversation flow. There are several frameworks and libraries available that can help simplify this process, such as the Microsoft Bot Framework, Dialogflow, and Rasa. When deploying the chatbot, it's important to ensure that it is accessible, user-friendly, and able to handle a range of user inputs and queries. You may need to test the chatbot extensively to identify and resolve any issues or bugs. And now the last step. Continuously improve the chatbot. Once your chatbot is deployed, the work isn't over. To ensure that your chatbot is providing value to users, you'll need to continuously monitor its performance and make improvements as necessary. This might involve analyzing user feedback, measuring the chatbot's effectiveness at achieving its goals, and identifying areas where the chatbot could be improved. You may need to collect additional data, refine the training data or prompts, or modify the chatbot's conversation flow to improve its performance. Additionally, you'll need to stay up to date with the latest advancements in natural language processing and chatbot development, and incorporate new techniques or technologies as appropriate. This can help ensure that your chatbot remains relevant and effective in meeting the needs of your users. Overall, building a customized ChatGPT model for a chatbot is a complex process that requires expertise in natural language processing, machine learning, and software development. However, with the right tools, resources, and approach, you can create a high-quality chatbot that meets the needs of your users and provides value to your organization. That concludes our walkthrough. Hope you enjoyed this guide for building your own customized chatbot. Please follow the channel for more guides on building your own AI-based solutions.